up, YouTube? Houston here. And for those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. For those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always double salute. I'm fairly excited today. We've hit 50,000 subscribers, and I want to thank all you guys for the special support that you've been giving me. You know, I hope that I've been bringing value to you, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a long journey. I do have 2 YouTube channels. So I have one YouTube channel. I'm doing almost 40,000, but this channel here I'm doing at, like I said, we hit 50,000. We're excited. We keep growing, and it's because of you guys, and I really want to say thank you for that, all right? Now, today's video, we're actually going to be talking about credit cards and loans that only pull TransUnion. And the reason that I want to focus on TransUnion is because the majority of the time, if you look at most people's credit file, they always have their TransUnion is usually the highest score most of the time. So it would go TransUnion, Experian, then Equifax, right? And so what I put together, I put some banks, credit unions, fintech companies together that you can actually have a mix of to be able to get the maximum amount of funding. And for some of these, even if you have bad credit, you still can get approved. So if you have bad credit or no credit, these here companies pull TransUnion and you still be able to get qualified, okay? Now, the first one is U.S. Bank. Now with U.S. Bank, here's the interesting thing about it. With U.S. Bank, they pull your TransUnion for all of their credit cards and loans and stuff. But here's the interesting thing about it. They are a FICO 8. Okay, and you know me, guys, I'm always telling you want to focus on your FICO 9. So with the banks and stuff like that, here's another interesting thing. With TransUnion, they'll give you a Vantage score TransUnion, right? But it's not your FICO score TransUnion. So there's a difference. All right. Now they have some very good cards. Now also remember that U.S. Bank, they are associated with Elan Financial as well. So with Elan Financial, they issue the cards for First National Bank and some of the other banks and stuff like that, which we're going to talk about in another video, because you need to know these data points when you're actually going to get funding. So TransUnion, U.S. Bank, all right? Then you have BARCLAYS. BARCLAYS, TransUnion, they FICO 8 score. Now, for most people, they tend to shy away from BARCLAYS is because they, most people, they figure that, well, I have to have a 700 plus. And that's not true. One of the key things in terms of dealing with BARCLAYS, they do focus on high income. Okay? So if you're an individual, in which I'm going to talk about this more, then you're an individual, if you're an individual that's making, I would say, between 55 to maybe 70,000 as an individual, that's where, you know, they really look at you. So that's the reason that BARCLAYS, I would choose them, especially because they have an airline, they have different co-partner cards, and they're much easier to get. They're more relaxed in terms of helping you get approved for those, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, you have the CHEVRON gas card. It's through CREDIT.AI Bank, and they pull TransUnion. But here's the thing about it. Sometimes CREDIT.AI Bank may pull your TransUnion and Experian. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Also, if your credit file is locked, they would do an automatic denial. So what you would have to do is unlock your credit files, like I said, your Experian and TransUnion, and then apply with them, okay? So to get this here card, it is a Visa card. So to get this card, you possibly can do it right after a bankruptcy. All right. Now, some things before we go further, some ways for you to actually increase your credit score up to 100 points or more is if you have any type of subscriptions or you're paying car insurance, gym memberships, you may want to look at companies like Grow Credit and Perch, okay? So they can report those type of trade lines onto your credit profile. That's going to help you. Now, you also have your pledge loans and your credit builder loans would definitely help you, and which we're going to talk more about that. Then you have Experian Boost. Now, I just made a video about my FICO Ultra FICO score, okay? It's similar to Experian Boost, but the numbers are more accurate across the board because with Experian Boost, it only helps your experience score. So just keep that in mind. Now, removing inquiries, hard inquiries, definitely increase the credit score. In reference to authorized users helps boost the credit score, especially like with the FICO 9. FICO 8, a lot of banks, again, they're real stickler on the authorized users and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But the FICO 9 score, because we're going to be talking about some of these fintech companies and stuff, and the credit unions that will actually give you funding and stuff that you can leverage from. Now, you have the extra debit card app. So if you have a debit card that you're using a lot, or One Financial, both of those companies will report all of your debit card transactions at the end of the month. All right. One big key thing that I keep telling you guys, and this can boost your 45, 60 points if you actually doing this. So if you want to boost in credit score, do this. Add your rent to your credit file. Now, for those of you that are paying cash or money orders, trust me, this is something that you need to stop doing and start following this program because it's, as you can see, there's these different companies out here that report to all three credit bureaus and stuff. So if you're paying cash, what you can do, you can get a prepaid debit card, Visa debit card, put the money on there, and then sign up with one of these companies, and so they can send a check out to where you rent to. Even if you're paying rent to a roommate or whatever, again, you can split up the rent and stuff, so that way that you actually getting a trade line on your credit file. And this is going to actually put points on your credit score and help boost up your credit score, okay? Now, let's talk about some of these credit unions. We have a Robbins Financial Credit Union. They pull FICO 9 TransUnion. Now, I'm excited about this credit union because I've looked at them and I'm going to make a separate video about them because, man, they got credit cards, business credit cards. So they are definitely one of those credit unions that you should have in your arsenal if you're trying to give funding. Now, they are out of Georgia, so just keep that in mind. But I'm going to do a full review in reference to them so that you can know how to benefit from them, okay? Now, you have Navy Federal Credit Union. Their credit cards, they pull TransUnion FICO 9, okay, on the personal credit cards. Also, you know that they do internal scoring. So a lot of times, even if you have a 550 credit score or something like that, you still may be able to get a Navy Federal credit card, unsecured credit card, because if you have multiple accounts, and we talk about the internal scoring, that internal scoring is definitely one of the keys in order to get the maximum amount of funding from credit unions, especially when you have a low credit score. All right. Now, the Apple credit card, again, TransUnion FICO 9, lowest credit score is a 600, average credit score is about a 620. Okay, so this is definitely one of those cards that you want to consider. Again, TransUnion. So if you have a clean TransUnion credit file, this is This is the type of cards you want to go after. Easy, low-hanging fruit, okay? Because you can build up the credit file, get as many cards and stuff like that. Now, it's issued through Goldman Sachs, in which I'm going to talk about Goldman Sachs because they have other business credit cards as well that pull TransUnion only, okay? Then you have CREDIT.AI. The reason I'm throwing them in there is because they don't do credit check. So in terms of what they look at, if you have an average of deposits and stuff, regular deposits and stuff, they will give you a credit card, okay? Their primary trade line is a $1,500 credit card, okay? You have OPPFI. OPPFI doesn't do a impact on the credit score. They start you out with 1,000, but after 6 months it doubles to 2,000, okay? Now, let's talk about credit cards and loan. You have Upgrade, which pulls TransUnion as well. Okay, now the good thing about Upgrade is that they're DTI. So if you have high debt to income ratio, meaning that your debt is higher than your income, but it isn't over that 75%, that's another thing you have to understand. Like with credit unions and banks, their maximum debt to income ratio is usually about 55%. Okay, but with the fintech companies like this here, they go up to 75%. Also, adding to that, in reference to looking at some of the basic data points, a lot of times these fintech companies, they're looking at how long you've been on the job, education, how long you've been at your address, stuff that is actually consistent. That's our data points that they're actually taking into consideration. Okay, now, unfortunately, with their situation is that they're not offering services in Colorado, Idaho, New York, Vermont, Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming. But there is another company that works in all 50 states. And man, oh man, I really like this company. And I'm going to tell you why. I've seen people with a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This company have given out $10,000, $15,000, okay, in a Chapter 11. People that have high DTI, I've seen them give out money, okay. This is one of those companies that's very flexible, that's working with a lot of people. Soft pull TransUnion once you accept the amount. And the good thing about it, with Upgrade and Upstart, like, you will be able to see your approval amount before you actually accept it. So that way, if you know if it's enough or not enough, okay? Now, again, their main focus is not just on the credit score, but the job, how long you've been at your place of residence, your debt to income ratio, your education level. So those are their factors. Now you have Universal Credit. Again, they do a soft pull. Minimum credit score is a 560. Average income is about 60,000. Now, here's a thing that I've tell you guys all the time. When you're applying for credit, make sure you include all the income in the household that's influencing your income. So if you have a spouse in the household, include the income. You don't have to put their personal information on it. Their personal information has nothing to do with it. If you have a roommate that's paying rent, so you may be disabled, but you have somebody that's paying you rent, then that's considered income. And so you should be putting that on the application. If you're retired, you have money from an annuity, a 401k, that's considered income to your household. Okay, so those are the things that most people miss out, and so they'll end up putting down that they have a low income, which that's not true, because they may have somebody in the household that's contributing, and so you should be considering that income as well. Now, with some of these companies, you do have to have at least 2 or more accounts. Some of them, no credit at all, and they're working with you. And they're fintech companies. Debt to income ratio 70, 75%. Okay. Now, Prosper pulls TransUnion. Their loans, but you have to have an average of, even though it's a softball, they want the average score to be about at least a 640. So that's the reason that I told you guys that those other lenders may be more effective in terms of helping you get access to funding, but Prosper is one of those in case you want to try them as well to see who's willing to work with you. All right. That being said, if you want to see your real credit score, your real FICO scores, because like I said, this Ultra FICO score, it's like Experian Boost. It's looking at like your income and stuff. So I'll put the link to the video so you can actually see it, so you can understand how the Ultra FICO can actually help you if you have bad credit or you're just starting out, and what some lenders may be using and as an alternative to helping you get qualified. Okay, so for those of you that need to schedule a one-on-one consultation, you can click the link in the description. Thank you.